Welcome everyone to episode 34 of Trauma Talks Thursdays. Happy Diwali to every one of you out there who's celebrating, and happy Halloween to every one of you as well. Please be safe out there. Well, hey, this podcast actually goes as a review and a rerun. So while you're listening to it, we had this happen on Diwali night, October 31st, where we are bringing to you an amazing guest tonight. And you will hear her story. And tonight, I'm telling you, y'all are in for a roller coaster ride, not just life, but this story will take you all on a ride. And her story is beautiful and in depth. You got to hold on to your hearts because it's about trauma, it's about bullying, it's about being in dark mental places, it's about betrayal. Today being Diwali, I've always believed throughout my life that the light and the brightness will always illuminate the darkness. And I do believe this. And I also believe when that darkness is there, if you do look carefully, meaning find that hope, that belief that you need, you will find that piercing little light. That if you go towards it, it definitely will become brighter and brighter. And today I realize how reflecting can bring an open light where you can understand things better. And I had an opportunity to reflect today and be taken back, especially when you know that I myself, Ra, has my own personal spiritual journey. And today I had an awakening. But it's beautiful because at the end of the day, many get betrayed in different things. Just as I said, in war, there is sacrifice. And most of the times, the sacrifices in wars are human beings. And while I say that today, our amazing guest lost her sight, as you will hear in this upcoming story. And today as well, I would like for you all to hear this story about a blind queen. I always come on here, and you all know I was born Hindu, so I speak about Sri Krishna. Now, for those of you who believe in Christ, I believe in Jesus Christ as well. And you all, for the past 34 episodes, have heard me speak up with love towards Jesus Christ. And in this way, I believe the same messages that Sri Krishna brings, the same as Jesus. And in the story of Sri Krishna, there's a story called the Mahabharata. And within that story, there is a blind queen called Gandhari. Now, this blind queen had 100 sons. Now, Sri Krishna also had the power to stop this war that took place within this story. So she put a curse upon Sri Krishna and his whole entire family and his whole clan. Now, we think about God. If God is walking on earth, as Jesus, they claimed, Son of God, some see him as God as well. Now, if you see this and you believe God is powerful or God should protect his own, right? But there's always messages within. And this blind queen put a curse on the Lord himself in his way to leave this earthly place and return to the heavens. So, with me saying this is, some people, because I had conversations in the past while growing up, and they would be like, just imagine a blind queen could put a curse on you. When you are deserving of a curse has to happen. And I told you all the story about the king and his minister before. What happens for the best. It's the same as a curse. It's meant to happen. Even if someone curses you for 7 lifetimes, it has to happen. So with me saying that, it's 5 minutes after. We are not going to read any bios today because it's Diwali, and Brittany Purr, as well as myself, is very excited to have this guest that we have here today, Dar Bassi Cripps of Creative Cards, Dar's Creative Cards. And let me tell you, I have some of her amazing cards on the desk. I just got to grab them. I always put them and I never find them, right? So I'm going to bring Brittany Purr up, and we're going to do some shout outs on whoever is logged in. I know it's Diwali. We might lose some of our viewers who normally look at us from Guyana and stuff, but we have a couple of people already on. And let's say a quick hello to some of them while I bring the amazing, the beautiful, and listen, shockingly, I keep saying she's an actress and she's from Hollywood, but today you would see what I mean because it doesn't seem like Brittany Purr is here. It's her twin sister. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali and happy Halloween, everybody.
They're gonna see you, Miss Hawkins. If you move there,
You have a
sorry.
whole party behind you.
Yeah, all my guests is here. It's Diwali, so yeah, and we don't want to come up on the screen, so that's why. All right. So, Brittany, how was your day?
It's been a day. Like threw this on last minute, so it's not like I got a little bit of a cone head happening. But hey, I got to dress up for Halloween and a little bit for Diwali. So yeah, having a good one. It's been a busy day.
I love, love, love the blend. So what I'll do right now is you want to tell them how was your week. I give you 4 minutes on stage for yourself, and then we come back and introduce our amazing guests while you can call out some of the amazing people that's commenting as well. So I'll be right back.
Sounds good. So, one of the things that's been coming up for me this week is authenticity and how to step into your authentic self, overcoming negative self talk or self depreciating thoughts and feelings that put you down or put others above you. And when it comes to these situations of dealing with trauma, dealing with struggles in our lives, we so often put people in bigger positions than they deserve. And one of those things is letting someone control your life for you instead of taking charge of your life and saying, no, you've got no power over me, and I get to go do this, or I get to go leave this situation, or I get to handle this thing on my terms. And that's challenging. It's not that easy. Obviously, easier said than done, but it's something that we get to kind of look into and explore. When someone says, oh, you can't do that, do you take that as fact? Or do you know yourself enough to go, I'm pretty sure I can do that. If anything, I can give it a good try. There are things in life where, let's say sometimes doctors don't want to give you crushing hope, which means they don't want to give you too much hope to just kind of give you that sense of disappointment if things don't work out. So a lot of times they skew things to the most negative. So people can either follow the doctor on what they say on like, you're never going to do this again. Or you can say, how can I? How can I do this? How can I make this happen? Because doctors don't know everything, but yet we pedestalize them, and they are overworked, sometimes underpaid individuals that we prop up on this pedestal, waiting for them to fall sometimes too. Because everyone that we pedestalize, we're giving them a chance to have that fall from our idea of grace as well. So start to connect with yourself, start to acknowledge your strengths, begin to really see who you are and overcome those negative naggings and those thoughts that just want to put you down or beneath someone. Because at the end of the day, we're mutuals. We get to see eye to eye, and we get to have our connection be stronger when we see ourselves as mutuals and not put someone above us or below us. Thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet, Brittany. And that is such a powerful message. And we say this week after week. See people, you don't look down on people. So my nephew wanted to come out here quickly and show you all his
Hi.
Halloween costumes. This is my nephew Aiden.
Wow.
You want to tell them what it is you're wearing quickly?
The Grim Reaper.
So he's the
Oh.
Reaper. Yay!
Oh.
Tell everybody happy Halloween and you can go.
Happy Halloween and Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Amazing. Thank you, Aiden. All right, Brittany Purr. That was amazing. So we have some amazing people on here already. Let's run through this quick. Happy Diwali from Viva Miss. We have Jenny's online. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Good evening. Happy Diwali to you. Good evening and happy Diwali to everyone. Happy Diwali from the Asian community. Happy Halloween. JC saying happy Halloween. Tamara Patrick, thank you so much for joining in. Good evening, everyone. Robert Dar, what this is going to be great. Yep, it is. We can't wait. It's about to happen. Then we have Shanaz. Good night, everyone. Happy Diwali from my family to yours. May the divine light shine bright in our hearts and our homes. Thank you so much. We love you, Shanaz. Thank you for joining. We have Dawn. Dawn, I think it's one of your fans backstage. Dar. We have Sweetie Nuri. Happy Diwali. Happy Halloween. Peace
Sweetie.
and greetings.
Midnight Queen.
Midnight Queen. Thank you. And happy Diwali. Amazing. So,
Hopi.
are you ready to do this and introduce our amazing guest? Because listen tonight,
Yes.
lock on. It's not a 10-minute, 15 minutes talk. She has a keynote speech for y'all. She's bringing the talk tonight on Trauma Talk Thursdays. Wow. Your Trauma Talks, huh? I really thought about it when I named it Your Trauma Talks, right, Brittany?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so without further ado, and for Brittany Pert to read her amazing bio, let's bring up Dar, and Brittany will read your bio. But we would like everyone to show some love to Dar Bassi Cripps.
Nice.
Welcome, Dar.
Thank
Brittany.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Dar is a self-taught mixed media collage artist from Emsdale, Ontario, creating whimsical masterpieces filled with love and laughter, nestled 3 hours north of Toronto. She finds inspiration in the serene beauty of her surroundings in a land known for its maple syrup and heartfelt apologies. With the precision of a surgeon and the finesse of a magician, Dar transforms simple materials, paper, scissors, glue, and paint into stunning works of art that would make even Michelangelo take notice. She proudly boasts that her artistry is entirely self-taught, proving that creativity knows no bounds. When she's not busy crafting her unique greeting cards or artist trading cards that can evoke emotion in even the toughest hearts, Dar enjoys life with her spouse, Abby, and their senior silky terrier, Spencer Tracy, in their little slice of heaven. For those curious enough to explore her whimsical world, Dar invites you to peek behind the curtain or dive into her magical realm by owning one of her custom designs. Each creation is infused with love, laughter, and just a hint of maple syrup. Welcome, Dar. I love that. Love every aspect of it, especially the artist trading cards. So we're going to have to trade some of those.
Oh, you make cards, trading cards too.
Yep. All about the ATCs.
You betcha. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Dar, amazing bio, and we are grateful that you're here tonight. It's Diwali, and it's also one of your favorite holidays. I know Halloween. You love to be crafty. You like creating very amazing stuff. So I would leave you here with Brittany, and you could tell her a little bit about the 1 minute about yourself, and then with the stage she will give you all to yourself.
Awesome, Dar. So share a little bit about what it is that keeps you vibrant in life.
Abby,
Mhm.
my wife, my beautiful wife, sitting here behind me.
Aw.
Sunshine, bright blue skies, and I love maple syrup drowned all over my pancakes.
Awesome. All right. And if you want to start sharing a bit about your history and how you got to this moment where things haven't been as easy as they once were and overcoming those challenges.
Well, I'm still working on the overcoming part.
Mhm.
Of 14 years of doing nothing but art and trading art all over the world with my fellow artists, trading card artists. That was all wonderful. And then one day, this day was just in July, just the last day of the before that particular holiday. I ended up blind. I was blind before I went to bed. And I had been in a good place, in good spirits already at that point in time, already because of the people I hung out with. You have to make a good choice of um, making friends, the right friends for you that are right for you at that time. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does. And when I became blind, I was like, oh, well, I have an option. I could either be sad or I could be happy. And I didn't want to be sad because I have a wife to think about. And I really am not as in bad a shape. Well, I really wasn't in as bad of a shape as I am now. And now I say that because I'm now blind in both eyes. I have perfect peripheral around, I can see outlines, but my central vision is gone. And how I'm dealing with that is because of Abby. She's been my rock, and now she's my eyes too. So, but at any rate, what a special night to be here. One of my favorite seasons of all time. And I am just honored to have this opportunity. And thank you again. Well, I am from Emsdale. You heard all that. And I love pancakes. I hope you love pancakes with real maple syrup. Um, and I'd like to take you back in time where it all began. Let's go way back in time, like to June 13th, 1964. That's it right there. That is where my trauma all began because I was not quite born yet. I was actually stuck to the inside of my mother's womb. My ear didn't want to let go. It just wanted to stay in that nice, cozy, cushiony, warm spot that um, I was already in, right? So why would I want to leave that? So anyway, this is where I would say, have you ever been stuck? Do not pass go, do not collect $200. And I have just gotten to the point where, trauma has happened early in my life. Wouldn't you agree, right? And so, as it turns, I grew up with 3 siblings, and my 3 brothers are all named, guess what, starting with a D. And my mother, when she wanted me for something, always stammered through all of us kids before she finally got to the one she wanted. So she would be like, Dave, Darlene. And I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do now? Right? And she just stammered all the way through it, and it always sounded like I was in deep trouble. And oddly enough, it was usually to do the dishes or something. And if it was my brother's turns to do the dishes, they would pay me off to do the dishes by bribery or something like that. So, yeah, my trauma, it really started out rather young in life. So, let's fast forward into time closer to us. And I thought, um, um, let's get up to grade school. Grade school is lots of crying, lots of hard times. Grade 5 was the harshest because um, I was told I had failed grade 5. And then by the end of the year, though, it wasn't that bad because I ended up moving. My parents announced we were moving, and I was like, yes, yes. Only to find that the next school was no different. And that was so heart-wrenching for me because it meant more bullying and more difficult things to go through. And anyway, we can come on further, closer to modern time as of right now. High school. High school was a wonderful time. High school was, no, it meant you were a young adult and you weren't an immature child anymore, and you were coming out of yourself. Well, not me. Not me at all. So I just wish that somehow this one particular event that happened, and it really hurts my heart to repeat it, but I will. Someone said to me once, "You are so ugly. Have you ever thought of suicide?" And I didn't know what that word meant, right? And so when I looked it up, I was crushed. I was absolutely devastated. And so it began. High school turned out to be not so fun for me, even though I was able to make a few friends, like with people who were stereotyped as misfits, nerds, etc. And it's because I wasn't pretty enough. I was too this, I was too that. And you know, like the bullying from kids, just, it was the same as being in public school. All the public schools I went to, high school was pretty bad. And even though I knew everyone there was to know in a school, there was like, out of how many people go to a high school, and how many friends did I have? Maybe 5, if that. So anyway, yeah, that was high school. And then grade 12 came, and I was thinking, okay, is this schooling stuff ever going to be over? Grade 12 came along, and my parents told me, we are moving. And I was like, what? We can't move halfway through my last year of high school. What is this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that happened. Nightmare in every girl's world, worst nightmare. So yeah, we moved. And yeah, we went to Newmarket, Ontario, and I just cried every night for a month, maybe 2 or 3 months. And I couldn't handle it anymore. I went to a school that I didn't know a single solitary soul. And that was not easy, my friends. So anyway, moving on. There was one time that proved no different, whatever was wrong. And I was okay, school is past. And please forgive me, this is the first time I've publicly told my story. And time has passed, and I am now in a young adult. And you know what? Thinking back, I don't think public school was ever as bad as being a young adult. Being a young adult meant you had things to be concerned with. You had chores to do. You had rules to follow if you still lived at home and you were, old enough to be out working. Well, guess what? I always had at least one job on the go. I always had at least 3 jobs on the go, sometimes 2, but I was never unemployed for a very long time. I could always find a job, but I could never keep it because of my right-sided disability, my right-sided learning disability. And I also found that trying to find a life partner was not easy for me. Again, I was never considered a model, was never pretty, and I just can't even believe I had two to three 3-year-long boyfriends, and there was a lot that happened. One guy was an alcoholic. Another guy was a drug addict. Another guy was verbally abusive. And the whole list just went on and on. And how life does hard, but how hard does life have to be? And it took me forever, it seemed, to find the one that was right for me. But anyway, I just becoming an adult, yeah, it was never any fun. I found Abby by the grace of God. It was actually a private party we met at, and it was the best night of my life. I met her, and it was like fireworks going off. And yeah, so we were hip to hip ever since. She called me every day. She just became the love of my life, and we've now been married for almost 2 decades. 20 years in March will be our anniversary. Now that's pretty amazing from someone who has had a whole life of different types of trauma in and out. That is just even too hard for me to even believe. And Abby just came along and made my life so much better. And she's pretty good to me. But you know what? It still didn't stop. The bullying hadn't stopped there. No, I'm not saying that that Abby was always very good to me. She's always never denied me anything. But I'm talking about the worst kind of bullying ever is when you're trapped in a body that has a horrible autoimmune disorder. It just never ends, it seems. It started off with, oh, I have ear infections all the time, so I'm 100% deaf in my right ear. And then it became I have diabetes. And then it became I have a horrible, horrible fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis. I have sleep apnea. I have this mild right-sided learning disability. And the list just goes on and on and on and on. But the most recent thing, as you heard me already mention, I'm now blind in both eyes, legally blind. And I cannot tell you, many of you may not be able to imagine, I cannot even tell you how scary this is or how hard it took for me to hear 7 ophthalmologists tell me that there is nothing they can do for me. And just when I was getting to the light at the end of my tunnel, as far as my hip pain and my lower back concern pains are, tomorrow I go for cortisone shot using an ultrasound on my lower back and hips. But this blindness is no fun. Trust me, it's no fun. A few years back, going back to the bullying just a bit, I discovered that I had a person that bullied me in my workplace, and this was a fairly big organization. And this person always talked down to me like I was in trouble. Me, 60 years old, but I was like 50 something back then. And it just finally came to a head because I got sick and tired of being bullied as it is. I was bullied all my life, and I'm not going to take bullying as an adult. So I had to go crush it myself because the manager of that store would not even touch it. So I went and crushed it myself. And I said to her, why do you do this to me? We're not in high school anymore. And her response to me was, well, you always have to have first break. And then I was like, well, no, I don't have to have first break. It depends on my diabetic body when I have to have first break. I cannot control my body. And it was after that, like, I ended up going on a sick leave and just never went back. And Abby totally 100% supported me in all of that. And I just, okay. So even that, getting bullied when I was older was better. The old days of being bullied in high school was better than being bullied as an adult, trust me. But this health thing, I still cannot get over it. And I just, I'm just so happy for Abby. And this is the first time, like I said, I have ever told my story. I'm not sure how I'm doing for time, but the first time I told my story, even touched on my story publicly, this is a first. So if I'm nervous, that's why. Anyway, yeah. So having said that, I just wanted to say thank you, Ra and Brittany, so very much. I don't know how much time we have left, but I just feel like that I just I'm gonna start crying any moment now. But I wanted you to know, Ra, that and Brittany, that from the bottom of my heart, I feel so honored to be here tonight of all nights. And I want you to know that you have given me a little bit of hope in that. And I've also been inspired. Hope and inspiration. I am going to write a book, and the book is going to be about my life and the trauma and the different things that happened. There's so much more that went on in my life that I haven't even touched on yet. And it's amazing to know that there are people like Ra who care about what happens to people. And I really do appreciate you. The final thing I would like to say to you all is never take anything for granted. Not your five senses, not anything. The sunshine, the water you drink, think of it like if you have electricity power outage and that electricity goes out one night and you're supposed to keep going. And if the power went out tonight when this show was about to go on, I'm not sure how things would have went, but I know things would have worked out. And I think they have. I may have emotionally messed things up a little bit, but thank you very much, Rod and Brittany.
Thank you, Dar. My heart goes out to you with the bullying because I got it from my family.
Aw.
And so, I put a chip on my shoulder and made sure that the world wouldn't bully me. But we all experience these things in different ways. And one of the things that really hit me as you were speaking is I wish people would educate themselves or be more educated on learning disabilities and disabilities in general. With my background in the entertainment industry, there are very few sets where there's disabled people on set. Like, they are the last ones to ever get work, the last ones to get gainful employment. It's very scary seeing that, especially having many friends that are neurodivergent and, my daughter somewhat as well. How have you been able to navigate your disability, bullying aside? How have you been able to navigate it and create gainful employment for yourself prior to these recent health issues of the blindness?
I was always able to navigate to getting a job by I have my driver's license. I used to drive. I used to drive myself to and from my jobs, and but at the time it wasn't just about the blindness because that didn't happen until this year. The other disabilities have been occurring from probably as good as the well, we met 2005, and then it's been going on, and sometimes I was able to.
Mhm. Oh, did it freeze?
She
Oh,
froze.
you froze a minute there.
Oh, okay.
You're back. Welcome back.
So I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. And then is your optimism like your strength, do you think, your optimism and creativity to overcome the challenges that you've met prior to this one that you're working through currently?
I think I can be thankful for um, my craftsmanship in my card making, my artist trading cards, which I have thousands of in binders behind me, literally, from people all over the world, and Happy Mail and actual sunshine. My favorite line to Abby when we get up in the morning is "Good morning, sunshine," and she's like, "Have you met Abby? You met her previously?
I'm not sure if I have.
Come on over here for a second, Abby. Let the world see you."
Hello. Hi, Abby.
Hello, Abby. I was about to say bring Abby up because we didn't show any pictures and I didn't get to do the bio. Thank you so much, Dar. Amazing, amazing. And thank you so much for your story. I could relate a lot to that story in different ways. And I thought I was alone when someone would say how ugly you are, you shouldn't be alive, and different things like that in different words. But I connect with you because now I know, hey, wow, this didn't just happen to me. Look at this beautiful soul as well. This has happened to that person. And that means to say that it didn't happen to you and myself as well. Just as Brittany Purr wasn't the only one bullied by her own family, many people go through that. And, when they reflect and they realize, hey, what could have been done because someone else could have been going through something worse than what we went through, even though our story is already bad. And you said some amazing things that I connect with. I remember again in 2009, I'm still not a model or anything like that. I'm in so many posters and stuff, and I'm very proud of it, of all my work and of my books and everything. But in 2009, my ex asked me to go to this modeling thing with him for a casting call, and I remember the guy laughed at me and he had some really nasty comments about it. And I was like, look at this. Then 11 years later, I walked to New York City Couture Fashion Week. I wasn't just interviewing people that I did on Your Life Experiences with Raw, like interviewing Lavari and Kirti Ratu from who is a designer from India who told her story live right at Fashion Week with me, that she almost threw herself in front of a moving train because of different things with family and stuff like that. Lavari told his story as well. That's the first time I met Lavari in 2020, where he said it took him 15 years to get onto the Billboard charts. And in 2020, when the pandemic happened, he ended up on iTunes, #1 in Canada and #2 in United States. So you see where it is people shut you down. You just have to keep going, because when they keep smashing you on the ground, you grow roots into that ground. So now when they smash you, every time you raise up, you stand up stronger. And that's how I look at it. You stand stronger, and this is who you are. Basically, you're telling your story of resilience and strength to many out there who has been through it like yourself, or even worse, as bad as it is. So Dar, thank you so much. It's a Diwali night, and you said that the electric went out and it was able to come back in and everything like that. And look, everything happens in the right way. There's nothing to change what was meant to be. What was meant for you shall never pass you by, and what passes you by was never meant for you. Just as there was a man who had the blues because he had no shoes. Down the street, he met a man who had no feet. All right, Dar, I'll leave you in the beautiful hands of Brittany Purr for a few questions. We'll read out some of the comments quickly. We have Shanaz, God bless you, Ra. We have Tamara Patrick. I told you it was going to be good. Three powerhouses. Then we have Clarissa, I think is one of theirs. Always hope if you keep your mind open. Geneva is sending some blessings for you. Clarissa is telling you, thank you so much for sharing. They're seeing your cat, Brittany Purr. Tamara is seeing your cat. I can't wait to read your book, Dar. You are so loved. Yay, Cam. So we have all these people on here. Thank you for telling your story. You're loved so much. Dawn is saying that. God bless you guys. Billion will never finish. Good, you met your angel. I'm thinking they're talking about Abby as an angel.
Yeah.
She's your person. Whoa, so sorry. Oh my God. Good night from my mom. Everybody have a blessed night. This is so deep. Proud of you, Dar. And it goes on and on. You see how much love they're sending you, Dar. They love you. And you know, Brittany, I love your new look. Happy Halloween. Joel Johnson Anderson is saying, hey. Then you have Yannick is saying, you rise like the phoenix. That is exactly how it happened. And thank you, Jenny, from obscurum.com. So I will leave the both of them on stage for the next 5-10 minutes. I'll be right back. Brittany Purr, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Dar, so much for sharing your story. And it seemed like it was a little bit of a struggle there, but you did a wonderful, wonderful job at sharing what you could. And so I just want to applaud you on that and thank you for trusting us and this space to be able to share your story. And I know, like, looking at the comments right now, so many people are touched by your shares and by your experience. And I really love the fact that you anchor into gratitude and that you are light. Like, you cultivate this lightness about you, even though there's this struggle that is going on, you still shine brightly. What is it? And I know that Abby's there. She's your angel and also your supporting light as well.
Yes.
But what else is there that helps you to keep going through, you know, the darkest of days besides gratitude? And, you know, do you create things to look forward to, like little gifts for yourself? Is it, you know, like what is it that keeps you going through all of this? Your cornerstone of resilience.
I would have to say that it is because of the fact that I am a believer in a God that answers prayer, and I have hope. There's always hope. There's always options, and I choose to be on the right side of the grass, as they say here in Emsdale.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a recurring theme with a lot of people hearing that prayer works, that there's always hope when you have that bigger force or that bigger being in mind. And that's incredible. With what has happened lately, do you feel like you're on your way to healing, or are you planning for, you know, what may happen from here on out?
Um, yes to both.
Mhm.
I feel like things are happening because being in touch with various people already from it's home and healthcare services. They're
Mhm.
bringing in what I need to be able to live comfortably. For example, a roll-in shower is coming,
Mhm.
and, and also we're waiting to hear from caseworkers from CNIB, and also ADP, which is the digital company. And I know there's funding for this type of the eye for losing as much sight as I have.
Mhm.
But I know I'm not going to give up making cards. I'm going to try back. Um, because things might change though. There might be
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot more challenge.
Hmm.
But overall, this is the most challenging thing I have ever encountered.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of support available with navigating the situation, through the healthcare services and that sort of thing. So for those who might be struggling with the same thing, for different reasons, there is support and there is hope. And I'm wondering, what are some ideas that you've brought forth to mature your artwork with what you are experiencing right now?
Well, it's going to be interesting because I haven't
Mhm.
quite figured that out yet.
Mm.
Um, to give you an idea of what I see, I can still see peripherally
Mhm.
out of both eyes, which means I see outlines. So I'm going to probably see outlines better in my artwork. The other interesting thing is that I see through a broken. The analogy I can give you, the best way to explain what I see is look through a broken mirror, a broken glass,
Mhm.
and you get that kind of weird. What's the weird word? There's a word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Uh, anyway, it just gives you like a weird abstract kind of angle.
Mhm.
And yeah, so and the other thing is too that I see what feels like about dusk when
Mm.
the sun's shining even outside all day long. I see dusk. So I'm probably, I don't know, my favorite color has always been rainbow. Has nothing to do with the LGBTQ thing or anything like that. And I've got all my markers up here lined up, all in rainbow color. Um,
Nice.
and it's all encased in a thing I made out of that toilet paper rolls. So you can imagine the reds and the oranges, yellows, all the way down to purples.
Mhm.
It's kind of quite a sight to see. So just me trying to be organized.
That is awesome. Very cool. So, I love that, like, organization and, uh, with what you can see, it's very interesting to hear how, there are ideas of navigating that, and I remember gosh darn it, why am I brain farting right now? One of the great
My
painters
fault.
one of the greatest painters had brain damage and was able to still create amazing artwork, and
Mhm.
I am definitely looking forward to how and I'm gonna say this again, how your artwork matures, because I think it's gonna become better
Mhm.
as you navigate this in the way that you will with your creativity and that being one of your strengths.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask, how can people find you and support your artwork?
Well, I still have my website up.
Mhm.
Not sure for how long, but my website is Stars Creative Cards, all one word, all small letters, .ca. And I also have on my links page every way they can connect with me, but the best way is to just call me on my phone because I'm unable to see your text and I would rather talk to you anyway.
Very cool. And okay, so that's found through the website.
That is really amazing, Gar. That you still have this drive in you. As we put it, that piercing light. You're making it brighter for yourself, and that's amazing. And I want to thank Abby so much for being there with you throughout this time of struggles and needing your strength and being there for you. That's amazing. Not everyone has someone that amazing or even have anyone with them at throughout their thick and
Aw,
thin.
yes, agreed.
Britt, I don't know why it's not coming up. The other, well, apparently everything's stuck. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
All
there we
right,
go.
so we have Obscurum Dar's creativecards.ca. Check it out. Her cards are beautiful. I keep saying I think I
Mhm.
packed them away because it's Diwali and we cleaned up, so I put away some stuff. You're fantastic, Abby. Dawn is saying life is a challenge. That's true, Raw. Happy Diwali. This is so in connection with a lot that's happening in my sister's life. Blessings and love to everyone. Dar, you're amazing. You're all beautiful. Dar has come a long way in the last year. I have known her. Thank you so much, Tamara, for being a friend to Dar. Thank you, Dar. Always a great story on this podcast. Okay, what we have again coming on. We miss anybody else who missed? Hello, Avi. The healthcare system is a mess. Yep, it's everywhere. Then you can scream, I got a dark card. I got a dark card. Yay,
Yes.
I got a yep. So Dar, I want to ask you something I always talk about every time I was on this virtual platform, you talk about your bullying when you was at Walmart. You did have a bullying at Walmart, right?
Yes,
So
I
you know
did.
we
I
talk
didn't.
about.
I don't know. I didn't say the name, but you said
Oh,
it. I did.
you did mention. I'm sorry, and I mean I know it's on your private forums. So like, can you give a little bit in depth about how that bullying was? Let's forget we talk about any brands because I'm sure the brand did not bully you. Was it the brand that bullied you, or was it
It was.
employees? Was it? Mhm.
It was. They at the time they had department managers, and at the time there was no real control over any department really. But this was supposed to be a department manager that bullied me. Upper management. And
Power, you know.
yeah,
Mhm.
and she would be like, well, you're supposed to do it this way. And she would proceed to talk down to me like as though I
Mhm.
was her 10-year-old
Mhm.
kid in trouble.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was just so frustrating. And I would go home crying every night for about 3 months. And finally,
Wow.
Abby said, that's enough. You don't have to go back there. And
Mhm.
so I just went on a sick leave and never went back.
Mhm.
I feel as though I would have done the same too. I mean, I'm very sorry that these things happened to you, Dar. But here you are today, strong, gotten over it. And again, having a strong person on your side helped you to get over it, overcome it. And if you could tell, before I leave you with Brittany to close up, I
Mhm.
want you to tell them what's that besides Abby that you have learned on your own if you reflect from the first time you were abused, were bullied, were told like those things, like the names that they will tell you that you're ugly and stuff like that, and you should just commit suicide or whatever it is, that from that time, from those type of times, every single time you had to go over a hurdle to where you are today. How do you overcome when you're in a current situation? What's your advice to others of how they should handle different situations? And with that, I want to tell you thank you so much. I love you, Dar.
Thank you.
I'll see you backstage when the show ends. Please stay backstage. All right, Brittany, wrap it up. I love you. And Dar, that's your question.
My main thing that I have learned how to overcome this type of experiences is you always have choices, and you always have to overcome, because why would you want to not continue life to learn from your mistakes and to learn from their mistakes and even though they're making mistakes in front of you right now, well, you're the better person right away, automatically. And that was one thing I was taught when I was growing up, is that I was always the better person. And to this day, I have stood by that, and proud to be in that category of who I am.
That's beautiful and heartfelt. Like, that is probably one of the most enlightened statements I have heard in a while. So thank
Oh,
you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
And one last question.
Uh-oh.
What what is one thing that you would like to share with our viewers who are watching right now that you think they really need to hear?
Do not take anything for granted. The air that you breathe, the water that you drink, your hands that you feel with, or your eyes that you see with, or your nose that you even smell with. Any of these things could be taken away from us at any given time. And there's no way you can be prepared for when it happens, because sometimes people are born with blindness. And it's not by their choice. And some people are born are not well. Some people become blind, like me, when I'm 60, and I would not want this for anyone else ever. So please, just don't take anything for granted.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And that is a very powerful statement. And I really pray and hope that people are really letting that sink in. Every breath, every sensation, everything. Do not take it for granted, but begin to have gratitude for being here, being now, being here in the now.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Dar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brittany.